Any other clarifications about the perspective that's being offered? Okay. You want to stretch for a moment before we sit still? Feel free. Let's keep the room in silence, but just if you want to release any pressure in your body and stand up for a moment, feel free. And then finding a way to sit that is upright, relaxed. It is sometimes taught that for these kind of practices, it's good to be more comfortable than usual, more relaxed than usual, because in mindfulness, if you're uncomfortable, you just use the discomfort as part of your practice. Because in this practice, we're going to be repeating phrases over and over. If you're really uncomfortable, it can take your attention away from the task of repeating the phrases. So more permission to, if you need to shift posture, shift posture. If, leaning against a wall or, chilling in the chair is helpful, do that. And as you're ready, allowing your eyes to be closed. Releasing any unnecessary tension the body may be holding. Releasing the jaw, eyes gently closed. Softening your belly if you can. And establishing an attitude of friendliness, of kindness, inclining the heart, the mind towards kindness. And I will offer the 3 phrases that I was taught originally. But let's start with bringing to mind someone who is easy to care about. What would be considered a benefactor, someone who you have mostly positive feelings about, gratitude for. Someone easy to wish ease upon. And begin saying to them in your heart and mind, may you be happy. May you be at ease. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be at ease. May you be free from suffering. Slowly, over and over, in your heart-mind, sending loving kindness to someone who's easy to appreciate, to love, that you've benefited from knowing, or maybe knowing about. Doesn't have to be a direct relationship. Someone who's inspired you. this wish for ease. There's a wish for ease with things as they are. This wish for freedom from suffering is a wish for freedom from the internal causes of suffering, the end of clinging, the end of aversion and hatred, the end of self-centered suffering. May you be happy with yourself just as you are. May you be at ease in this world just as it is. May you be free from suffering. Having generated some intention to be kind, now turn that kindness towards yourself, letting go of the benefactor, and direct your unconditional friendliness, your loving kindness towards yourself. Using the phrases, may I be happy just as I am. May I be at ease in the midst of my life as it is, with this mind, with this body. May I be free from suffering, the suffering of attachment, of clinging and craving, the suffering of hatred, resentment, ill will, and the suffering of taking everything personal, I, me, mine. When your mind wanders or resists or judges, just replace whatever your mind wants to do with the phrase over and over, saying to yourself, may I be happy, may I be at ease, may I be free from suffering. Resistance often tightens the belly. We find ourselves clenching our jaws. Soften as much as you can to receive your own well wishes. And then begin opening to some of the difficult people. And don't go to the hardest person, the person that you resent the most, but bring to mind some of your annoying friends, the frenemies before the enemies. And begin sending loving kindness to some of the people that you sometimes put out of your heart, some of the people that you do care about that are challenging at times. Allow yourself to see their suffering, their stress, their fear, their confusion. And offer them this friendly phrase of, may you be happy. May you be at ease. May you be free from suffering. Holding on to our judgments, our hatred, our resentments. It just hurts us. The part of the mind that thinks it protects us. But it closes our own hearts. Soften your heart. Open to the possibility of mercy and compassion, of forgiveness, of loving kindness. May you be happy. May you be at ease. May you be free from suffering, whether they deserve it or not. Not doing it for them, doing it for yourself. Bring it back here into the room. Let go with as much kindness as you can of the difficult people. Come back to feeling your breath, your body. Soften again. Readjust your posture if you need to. And begin sending loving kindness to the people sitting next to you. Understanding that just like you, they wish to be happy and to have ease, well-being in their life, seeking freedom from suffering. Extending to the people in front of you and behind you. And as the teaching said, radiating from your heart and mind an attitude of friendliness, kindness. Try to fill the whole room with it, everyone here. With loving kindness, with friendliness, with wishes for each other's happiness and ease and freedom. Pause for a moment and realize that there's over 50 people, 60 people sending you loving kindness right now. Being included as somebody worthy of friendliness. Take a moment to just breathe that in, the recepting, receiving. That we're all sending it to each other. And then as a group, we can begin to radiate loving kindness outward into the neighborhood. To all of the beings in the north of us. All the way up through North America and Canada to the North Pole. All of the beings to the east of us. Across this whole continent. All of the beings to the south. Through Mexico and Central America and South America. To the west. Across the Pacific. Covering Asia. Russia, Europe, Australia, Africa, all of the islands, to the South Pole, till we cover this whole planet, radiating this wish for happiness for all living beings. For ease, for freedom. Repeating the phrase in your heart and mind, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be. Those near and far away. The young and the old. The rich and the poor. Of every race and religion. May all beings be at ease. In both the human and animal realms. Just coming back to your heart, mind, here now. Let go of the phrases. Again, relax into the present with acceptance as much as you can of yourself just as you are. Whether these practices feel pleasant or unpleasant, soothing or agitating. Any practical questions about how to do this? About how to practice in this way, loving kindness? Did it make sense to you? Is there any parts of it that you felt lost in, or?
There are instructions on point when they're saying sending loving kindness, what that actually is. Is it a hug or a...
It's the wish. In the sutta, it says wishing. May all beings be at ease. So it's a thought. It's a wish. It's an attitude of heart and mind. It's a wish for all beings to be at ease. So you could be creative about it and send hugs, you know. I've heard some guided meditations where there's a lot of visualization around, and it's like, radiate this golden light out of your heart and imagine the golden light like a mist, enveloping all of those around you and across the whole planet. So sometimes you can get visual about it. So if it helps you see it and kind of embody it in some ways. My sense is that the core is to try to generate the feeling and send that feeling, send the wish. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease, is the core instruction. And then he says radiating over the entire world. So we can get creative with it, and it's cool to get creative with it. It's said that if you practice this meditation regularly, there are 11 benefits that you will experience. I mean, really, I'm a little skeptical of this list of benefits. I'm going to share it with you. I really like that often what is said is that the Buddha only taught the truth of suffering and how to end suffering. And so as far as a benefit, the benefit is you won't suffer so much. Isn't that enough? That's why I'm here. That's what I'm looking for. A decrease in the amount of suffering, an increase in the amount of happiness and ease and well-being. But then, of course, we like to make lists. 11 benefits of metta. Number 1, if you practice this regularly, for like 10 years, you will sleep easily. That's big for some people. I don't know if there's any insomniacs in the room, but when the mind is agitated and it won't let you go to sleep, that's suffering. And if the mind is, calm and kind and friendly and it just sleeping easily, there's a lot of people that like, I would meditate just for that, just so I could sleep. You will wake easily, number 2. Again, how many of you suffer about like, I don't want to get out of bed in the morning? Wouldn't it be great to just like wake easily? It's like wake up and like, I'm awake. Not like easily like you don't sleep well and you're waking up at every sound, but just like it's time to wake up and I'm happy to be awake. Can't wait to brush my teeth. This is going to be amazing. Work. What an opportunity today. Stoked. When you are sleeping, you will have pleasant dreams. Again, when our mind is angry, when our mind is holding resentment and ill will and fear, nightmares, night terrors, terrible dreams. And, so I think it's a bit practical, saying like you'll sleep easily, you'll wake easily, and you'll have pleasant dreams because your mind will be trained to be kind, and then you'll have kind of lots of butterflies. People will love you. Now, I'm skeptical. Not like everybody's going to love you. Everybody didn't love the Buddha. People met the Buddha and they were like, this atheist, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy who's breaking down the very structure of our sexist and racist society that we want to keep in place. They didn't love him. There was assassination attempts on the Buddha. So a lot of people loved him, right? A lot of people came and they're like, wow, this guy's got something and I want it and I'm going to practice it. And a lot of people came and they were just like, no, this guy's doesn't even do yoga. This guy's telling people they don't even have to do yoga. Fucking sellout. Animals and unseen beings will love you. Let me back up to people will love you. Again, I don't think that it means like everyone will love us. There was somebody on my retreat. I was teaching a retreat this weekend in Washington, and somebody that was suffering a lot from low self-esteem and this self-centeredness that, just felt like, I think everybody hates me. I feel like I'm not accepted in the Sangha. He said, and I hate myself and I don't accept myself. And that's what this is talking about, that when we really forgive ourselves and we really learn to love ourselves, other people notice and you're just easier to be around. People, like when you're angry and, of course, sometimes people might be like, whoa, I don't really want to hang out with you. You're a fucking bummer. But when you're coming from a place of loving kindness and then people are just like, oh yeah, that's a pleasant person to be around. I love being around that person. They're a good time. People will love you. Animals and unseen beings will love you. Unseen beings, this is where it gets a little mystical in the Buddhist cosmology. that there's different, I said, all of the human beings and all of the animals. Now, in traditional Buddhism, there's also like angel realms and ghost realms and heaven and hell realms. And there's a whole cosmology in Buddhism that's being pointed to here that's saying that the devas, which are these like celestial, like angel beings, they'll dig you. And not only will they love you, they will, number 6, they will protect you. So, like if you're going to have like superheroes got your back. Practice this enough and the angels will be like, don't fuck with her. Number 7, external dangers. Here's where I really start to roll my eyes. External dangers such as fire, poison, and weapons will not harm you. Like some serious superpowers are going to happen now. Like a lot of loving kindness, and then you're just bulletproof. Now, the only way that I can make sense of that is not that fire isn't going to burn us or poisons or weapons aren't going to hurt us, but that we'll develop such a deep level of compassion and kindness and ease that if we were burned, we wouldn't suffer that much about it because we'd have compassion for the fire, for the burn, or the weapon, or I don't think that, there's any reality to not getting hurt. But there is a reality to not suffering about it when we get hurt. Make sense? That's for sure. Like we can get to the place where we have enough compassion, enough kindness towards difficulties that we don't suffer about it that much. Not that it's not going to happen. Number 8, your face will be radiant. Just super radiant. Your mind will be serene. Again, I feel like that one makes a lot of sense, that if you're coming from a place of kindness, you won't be so agitated. There'll be more serenity in your mind. Now, I think we have to be careful around what does serenity mean. Sometimes Buddhism talks about stillness or serenity. My favorite image is from Ajahn Chah, he says, if you let go absolutely, your heart and mind will become still like a forest pool. And, like serene. Like, so you can imagine this like jungle, this forest, and then there's this pool, this little pool in the middle of this forest, and there's stillness. He says, but all kinds of strange and wonderful animals will come to drink from that stillness. So it's not a complete absence of activity, that even in that stillness, and the strange and wonderful animals are thoughts and emotions and sensations and the reality of having a mind that thinks. Stillness is the space that thoughts can arise in and not be agitating because they're just thoughts. A still mind isn't free from thoughts, free from emotions. Serenity is not a place that has no activity. It's being at ease with the activity, being serene in the midst of what's happening. And so we can have that in the middle of the city. We can have that in the middle of the woods. It's an attitude. It's an outlook. It's an internal experience, not about what's happening. Because I feel like so often people are like, well, how could I be serene when I'm driving down Lincoln? That's fucking impossible because it's chaos out here. Traffic causes me suffering. The reality is it's never the traffic that's causing us suffering. It's our impatience, it's our judgment, it's our fear, So a serene mind is one that's just accepting that, oh yeah, there's other people on this planet going the same direction as me. Number 10, when you die, you will be unconfused. There won't be any of this, why me, kind of thought when you die. acceptance. Oh, yes, I was born and I lived the life and I'm dying. And there's no confusion about it. This is nature. Doesn't mean there's no sadness. It doesn't mean there's no grief. It doesn't mean there's no unpleasantness to death. It just means there's no confusion about it. It means understanding this is nature. This is the Dharma of impermanence, death. And number 11, it's about reincarnation. It says, you'll die unconfused. And when you're reborn, if you're reborn, you will be reborn into happy realms. Not too happy, hopefully. My own feeling is that if what Buddhism is offering us, if reincarnation is a thing, some of you have dismissed it as a thing. I'm agnostic about it myself. I lean towards reincarnation. The Buddha did teach it. I'm not blind faith, but the model is that we have this opportunity to wake up. And that if we don't wake up this time, we get another chance. You keep coming back until you free yourself from greed, hatred, and delusion. So why I say not too happy, because in order to really practice the Dharma, you're going to need some adversity in your life. Did any of you come to the Dharma with no adversity? So if everything's too happy, you won't be motivated to practice the Dharma. I know for myself, I'm thinking of my friend Casey who's here, and we're doing this Year to Live, and we had this whole process about if you got to choose your rebirth, where would you be reborn? And we were both talking about, I want to be reborn into a situation where there is enough suffering to motivate me to practice, but not so much suffering that it was so overwhelming that I never found the Dharma. I want to be reborn into a realm where the Dharma is available so that I can continue the process that I've started in this lifetime, this process of awakening, if we don't get done this time. The heaven realms are considered to be these happy realms that you can be reborn into if this is true. And the problem with the heaven realms is that there's no motivation to practice. So you just do time in a pleasant experience. Heaven realms are everything in Buddhism impermanent, all the realms. So you just do time in a heaven realm. And then you have to come back to the human realm and do your meditation practice later. It's just a vacation. It's just a vacation. So you have a happy rebirth, but not too happy. Please, Rick.
Is there a risk in wishing ourselves ease, let alone others? Can we get snagged on wishing for a karmic bypass?
What's your thought about it? What's the bypass danger?
If ease arises just out of the wish, what happened to all that karma?
But again, it doesn't. I mean, that's the foundation. Richard said it before, our wish for others doesn't give them ease. We're doing that to develop that attitude of our own heart mind. This is not magic. It doesn't give anybody else. And definition of ease, to be at ease with your pain, to be at ease with the losses, with the difficulties, with reality. Not a bypass of may everything be easy and you have no challenges and you have no pain in your life. May you learn to be at ease with the pain, with the challenges, with the karma that you need to purify. May you face it all with ease, with equanimity. So I don't think I don't see it as danger of bypass. Please.
This list.
Yeah. The benefits.
This is commentary, right?
I think it's in the suttas. But a lot of the suttas are commentary too. You can't take the suttas, my opinion, you can't take the suttas as gospel. They weren't written down for 200 years. And there was big arguments about what should be in there and what the Buddha really taught and what they didn't, and what we know about communities and power dynamics in communities and what gets written down as the history. Enough said. We can't rely on what was written down as all being clearly what the Buddha said. It's attributed to him. And I would say 70, 80% of what's in the suttas, when I read it, feels like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then some of them like, that doesn't make sense to me. And not that I know, but just using my own intuition and experience with practice. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that I'm like, this feels like advertising. This feels like religion, not practical philosophy. Last one, Adam.
Well, at the same time, just to comment on that Stephen Batchelor book after Buddhism, I think it's good. Is he right? Because he's like picking out the things that like he feels were not advertised.
Yes. The comment Adam's making is that for those of us who feel some skepticism, and Stephen Batchelor is a Buddhist scholar, skeptic, and has written a bunch of books. One called Buddhist Atheist, Confessions of a Buddhist Atheist, where he goes through and he's like, I've been practicing Buddhism for 40 years and I don't believe in reincarnation and I'm going to, just come out with it. And then this After Buddhism book where he goes through the suttas and he says, here's the stuff that feels to him, his perspective. Here's the stuff that feels like it's what the Buddha really taught and examples from his life and relationships. And here's some of the stuff that feels like it was religious dogmatic add-ons. It's one of the reasons why I like to keep it pretty simple and say we have the Four Noble Truths, we have the Eightfold Path, we have the Brahma Viharas. These are the really practical tools, and in some ways I feel like they're enough. And there's a lot of other kind of fluff around religious Buddhism. And then there's the core, applicable, practical, experiential teachings. And those are what we usually focus on. And it's fun to have a laugh at the advertising lists too. So enough for tonight. Tonight and every night, and I don't always remember to say it, but take the teachings, reflect on them, do the practices, see how it works in your own life. You don't have to believe any of this stuff, but try it. See for yourself. It's an offering. And I encourage you, if you've, do loving kindness all week. I mean, I'm going to do a different teaching next week, but do it all week. Do it all month. If it resonates, if you feel like, oh no, there's something here that would be healing, do it for a year. Just like incorporate it into your daily life. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at ease. May all beings be free. Say it to yourself. Say it to others. Say it while you're driving your car. Say it while you're standing in line at the market. Get your mind thinking in this way, and then check it out. See how it works in your own direct experience. Couple of announcements. Class is done by donation, as you probably know. There's bowls on the front desk there for cash donations. There's also where you can send Venmo or PayPal donations if you're at home watching on Instagram or Facebook. We also appreciate your generosity. Make donations if you can. And a couple of upcoming things. I keep getting the dates wrong. Last week I said the wrong date for the 4-month course that's starting. It starts next month on April 22nd. It's the we're going to meet once a month for 4 months and study the teachings of Ajahn Chah. That's what I meant, March 22nd. I keep saying April. Maybe I want to postpone it. I don't know. March 22nd. And this is on the teachings of Ajahn Chah, who is the Thai forest tradition master teacher, the teacher of my teachers. And so we're going to study his teachings. You're all invited. There's a registration fee. Please sign up. If you're in the place where you really want to do it and you can't afford it, let us know. We might be able to do some scholarships. And we're going to meet once a month as a group. And then people who do it will also have the opportunity to meet with me for a 30-minute kind of practice support meeting individually once a month, starting in March. That's on the 22nd. And on March 7th, Saturday the 7th, which is just in a couple weeks, we have a day-long retreat here where we'll do mindfulness, sitting, and walking practice all day. Great way to deepen your practice a bit here in the city, and opportunity to practice all day with the Sangha. George has an announcement.
Oh, real quick. Tomorrow's the deadline to register to vote by mail. If you've moved or changed parties, grab a registration form. They're on the table on your way out. Thank you. The election's in 2 weeks from tomorrow for Super Tuesday. The primary one.
Thank you. Am I forgetting anything, Ricky? Registration's open for the Memorial Day retreat, which is in May. Especially if you're planning to come and you want a single or a room to yourself, those go fast. So register early if you want to not have to deal with someone else's snoring on the retreat. May any goodness that comes from our practice, discussion of the Buddha's Dharma, be gathered and shared outward in all directions, covering this entire planet with loving kindness. May each one of us do what needs to be done to get free. And together may we create a positive change on this planet. See you next week.